This is Umar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. I'm in the Queensbury offices. I've come to see Frank Warren and I've bumped into an absolute legend, arguably, if not definitely, the best Irish fighter of all time, Mr. Steve Collins. As I said, you're down here at the Queensbury offices catching up with a former friend, promoter, someone you did business with in Frank Warren. So how was that seeing Frank today, Steve?
Well, I actually met with Frank today for two reasons. One reason mainly was to get some advice. On business. You know, I have a project coming my way, nothing to do with boxing whatsoever, and I have some decisions to make. And I called Frank and I asked him could I come meet with him, have a chat, and get his opinion on matters. And because Frank's a very wise man. And he's always been nothing but honest with me and straight with me. And I came to pick his brains, his business brain, and get some advice on a matter. And without hesitation, Frank, met with me. We had a chat and gave me some good little pointers. So it's priceless. And Frank gives it to me for free. Free advice. Where would you get it? From someone with the knowledge and experience he has. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Steve,
also, the other topic we're here for is we're just sorting a date out for my son Stevie's next fight, Stevie Collins Jr., who's fighting at light heavyweight. And, everyone's talking about Eubank Jr. and Ben Jr., but they got to watch out because Stevie Collins Jr. is out there and he's gunning for both of them. So while they're mixing it up between them two, hovering in the background, watching closely is Steve Collins Jr., and he's going to come after them.
How old's your boy?
My boy is 33.
Okay.
So he's okay. He's still active. He's fighting in September. We haven't got the date confirmed yet, but he will be fighting in September, and he's fighting at light heavyweight.
Okay, good to hear. Well, listen, follow that journey.
Watch the space.
Absolutely. Listen, Steve, I have to mention the 30th anniversary that's upon us.
30 years?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Did you not know that?
I actually don't really think about it because it's 30 years. It's gone so quick. It feels like it only a couple of years ago.
With you and Chris Eubank Sr., the rematch, of course, that Frank put on.
That was my first fight with Frank Warren, who I finished my career with, and got me the fights I wanted, yeah.
I guess a key talking point going into that rematch was you guys telling the press that you'd hypnotised Chris Eubank Sr. Mm-hmm. Just talk to me about that and what were you trying to get in Chris's mind?
Yeah, Chris to me was the original master of mind games. Everybody who fought Chris Eubank back in the day when he was world champion knew that it wasn't about them, it was about him. It was his show and everybody was a bit part. It was the Chris Eubank tour. And I had to take that edge, that psychological edge away from him and make him realize, no, it wasn't about him, it was about me. So I had to get into his mind, get into his head and break that confidence and he had and undermine him. And so we come up with the mind games in fight one. And if you really want to know how it came about and how we made it happen, you go onto Prime and you look up One Night in Mill Street, and they just made a whole documentary on that night, and it's really informative. And I watched it, and I actually looked at it and I went, wow, I didn't know all that went on, because when I was boxing, I was kind of blinkers on. So, so One Night in Mill Street, it kind of, rather than listen to me talk about it, watch the show. It explains the whole night, what happened, what we did, why we did it, and what came of it.
I'll be sure to have a look. I'm sure many of the viewers here will.
That was the first fight, and Chris didn't really accept it. He cried foul, and he gave the reasons and excuses. So I said, well, rather than me go and take easy fights and make some easy paydays, I'll wait till he's ready, and I'll give my first defense against Chris. And that was, as you say, 30 years ago. And it was my first fight with Frank Warren, who promoted me to the end of my career. And that was the rematch, which also happened again in County Cork, south of Ireland, in the stadium there, Parky Kiev, the big Gaelic football stadium.
So going into that rematch, before you even stepped in that ring, did you believe Chris Eubank Sr. was a beaten man already?
No. He was more dangerous in the rematch because I'd already caught him off guard in the original fight. I'd no more tricks up my sleeve. I knew he was very determined, and I knew he wanted to be champion because he didn't like being second best. And I knew I had a harder fight, and I'd nothing new to show him. So I just, I trained differently for the second fight, and I didn't want him to expect the same fighter approach him and fight him the way I did in the first fight. So I had to, adjust my style and do something different to catch him off guard. And I did that. I totally changed my style, and I had a different approach in the second fight. And I never trained so hard in my life as I did for the rematch, because I knew he was coming for me.
What was the toughest thing about Chris Eubank Sr.?
Well, Chris Eubank, without doubt, is the toughest guy I ever fought. He had amazing durability. You could hit Chris hard, all night long, and the last minute, the last round, he was still dangerous. He had great resilience, great strength, great stamina, and he was so strong, physically very, very strong, and unpredictable. He had an awkward style about him. It wasn't by the book. It was just different,
Fascinating stuff. Listen, in terms of the present day stuff that's going on, Steve, just want to pick your brains rather on some of the big fights that we've got coming up. So Canelo-Crawford in Las Vegas. I've seen a very split opinion on this. Some people firmly picking Canelo, some people firmly picking Crawford. Where's your head at with this?
I'm a fan of Canelo. I love his style. I like how he fights. I like everything about him, his boxing. Crawford is a very good fighter, and some people believe and think that maybe Canelo might not be taking him serious. People think, oh, Canelo's got this attitude, oh, I'm bigger than him, I'm stronger than him. This is what they think Canelo's thinking. And they think, people believe that Canelo goes in underestimating Crawford. He could be in for a shock. I don't believe Canelo is underestimating him, because he's too long in the tooth. He's been around the game. He's too wise and too successful to underestimate anybody. But also, in saying that, Canelo's been around a long time. He's got a lot of hard fights under his belt, and I wonder, is every fight, next fight is going to be his last fight? Has Canelo still got it in the tank? We don't know. We know in the night Crawford is good enough to beat him. Canelo's good enough to beat Crawford, and in saying that, I'm looking forward to the fight, because I really don't know. I can't pick a winner. That's what's great about this fight, because I really cannot pick a winner.
Do you think size will play a factor in this fight?
Well, size can play a factor if you know how to use it to your advantage. Sometimes size can be to a disadvantage. I don't really think the size is going to make that much of a difference, really. But then Canelo is clever enough; he can use his weight to a positive. I don't really know. See, I can't simplify it and say, oh yeah, size will make a difference. That's what's great about this fight. I can't pick a winner. Some people, are saying that Canelo needs to win inside the distance because Crawford's going to finish strong. And I'm going, well, I don't know. Canelo's dangerous up until the last bell. So I don't know what to think. I don't know. And experts give opinions, and every opinion has a something you'd agree with, something you disagree with. It's a good match. And because it's a good match, I'm looking forward to it, because it's what boxing should be. Every fight should be a good match.
Lastly, one of Frank's guys, Hamza Sheeraz, is the WBC mandatory challenger to the winner of this fight. And His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh's made no secret of it. If Canelo comes through, he wants to make that fight in February with Canelo and Sheeraz. Firstly, what have you made of Hamza, and how would he fare, do you think, against the Canelo Alvarez?
He's new, he's young. Canelo's been around a long time. Sheeraz, he's got more improvement in him. Canelo at his best, there's nobody will beat him, in my opinion. The only person that will beat Canelo is time, or Canelo not preparing correctly. And time is going to catch up on some stage. And he's very wealthy, Canelo is. He's very successful. Does he still have the desire and love for the game? I don't know. I think maybe after this fight, I don't know whether he should retire or not and get out at the top. You're always better off getting out, with more left than getting out too late. If you understand what I'm saying? Some people, say to fighters, "Oh, you finished too soon. You retired early. You could have kept going for another couple of years." That to me is the best way to get out, rather than people saying, "No, you should have retired a couple of years early. You stayed around too long." I don't know. Every time Canelo fights, I wonder, is this going to be the fight that he shouldn't have had? Maybe he has stayed around too long. But at the moment, I can't see anybody beating Canelo in form. Sorry, get back to the answer. Canelo in form now, I think, can beat anybody out there. If he still has it and he still trains hard and prepares, and he has everything in the tank that he needs, I can't see anybody with his ability and his boxing brain beating him. But there are some big challenges out there, so he's got to be ready and prepared for them.
Okay, listen, perfect. Steve, appreciate your time. We will keep an eye on what's happening next with your project and also your boy Stevie out in September. Is that correct?
Yeah, I spoke to George. George believes he'll get him out in September. He fights a light heavyweight, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's chomping on the bit. He wants to get that big break. He wants that big fight to show his ability, and he believes in his heart and soul that he is the best one out there at light heavyweight. And I just think it wouldn't be very interesting if Eubank Jr. was successful against Ben Jr. I mean, what a match that would be. History repeating itself again. Obviously, Collins beating Eubank.
We shall see. Listen, appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.